Life's not fair. Random people get rich because they're in the right place at the right time. People get millions of dollars because of a lucky moment, and there are millionaires out there who did nothing except buy Dogecoin when it was cheap. Everyone has their own path to $1 million, and most people spend their whole life trying to get there. But luckily, this video will teach you some shortcuts. Step 1. Let's make it clear. Do you want to become ultra rich, or do you just want to become financially free? You might think you want to get ultra rich, like 100 million plus net worth, but it's not as good as it seems. It's kind of like Monopoly. It's fun at first, watching your pile of cash grow and grow, and it's fun buying half the properties on the board and building hotels and houses everywhere, but after a while, you get to the end game. There's nothing left to buy, all you can do is cling to the money and hope you don't lose it, and either way, you end up spending half your turns in jail. On the other hand, just becoming a millionaire is easy enough where it doesn't require you to dedicate your entire life to chasing money. You don't have to stress about building a giant company, you don't have to manage hundreds of employees, you don't have to work all day, and you can pretty much buy everything you need really. Of course, there's no problem with trying to become super rich or trying to become a billionaire, but you really have to want that life. If you're just doing it because you want to be famous, you'll be disappointed. In fact, if you look at the Forbes list of the top 1,000 richest people, you won't recognize 99% of them. Most of them are lucky if they can even get a profile picture on the website. Step 2. Understand assets and liabilities. Here's the definition of a millionaire. Someone whose net worth is over $1 million. Your net worth is equal to your assets, which is the value of all the stuff you own, minus your liabilities, which is all the money you still owe to other people. An asset can be anything you have that's worth money, like a car, a gold bar, a pile of physical cash, cash in your bank account, a house that you own, your stocks, your Bitcoin, your $200 pressure washer. It's an asset because you own it and it's worth money. The cool thing about assets is that they can go up in value over time. If you buy a house for $500K and it increases in value to $1.5 million, your net worth goes up by $1 million. In case you didn't know, a lot of millionaires are made through real estate because the concept itself is pretty simple. Step 1, you buy a property, which isn't actually as hard as it sounds. You don't need to give up $500K to buy a $500K house. You can pay 20% of the price in cash and take out a loan to pay the rest. Then, step 2, you get people to live in the property. The people living there pay you rent every month, and you can use that money to pay back the loan you took out. And also, over time, the value of the property goes up. So eventually, you can get to step 3, where you sell the property and you make a profit. It does take a decent bit of money to get started, and it does cause a lot of stress, especially because you always have the risk of losing money. But on the bright side, if you simply just take the time to read books about real estate and not just go into it blindly, you'll probably do just fine. And really, that goes for any skill. The only problem is, at least for me, it takes weeks to read a book. And there's just so many books out there that it's just impossible to decide what to read. So in the end, I just don't read. The way I fixed it is by downloading an app called Shortform, which has a giant online library that contains full guides to books, but in a shorter format, chapter by chapter, every single important detail, with annotations, with clarifications, with comparisons to other books, and they even have exercises that help you retain more information. This video is sponsored by Shortform, so I put a link down below if you want to try it for free. What I just read is this book called The Book on Rental Property Investing, and it talks about the biggest mistakes people make when getting into real estate, how to find a good property, how to actually purchase it, and all the dirty details of paperwork and getting tenants and maintenance. And it's a 400-page book, but you could finish the Shortform guide in just a few hours. They have books on starting a business, finance, investing, even books about social skills. So if that sounded helpful to you, you get free access to it for 5 days by going to shortform.com/easyactually. And if that wasn't enough, you'll get a 20% discount off the annual subscription just by using this link. Again, it's shortform.com/easyactually. If you scroll down, it'll be there. Let's say you start a business and somehow you make $1 million from it. And it's all sitting in a bank account. Are you a millionaire? Yes or no? The answer is actually no. That was a trick question. You forgot about the taxes. Rookie mistake. Say goodbye to 50% of that. Remember the first rule about becoming a millionaire. You'll have to pay taxes, which means if you want to make $1 million, you actually need to make $2 million just to be safe. So why don't we get into how to actually make the money? You have 4 options. Earn $2 million from buying and selling assets, like we already talked about. Earn $2 million from working a job. Earn $2 million from starting a business. or some combination of all three. Earning $2 million through a job takes time. Even if you make $200K a year, it'll take you 10 years to reach $2 million. But there's a reason people get jobs, and there's a reason not everyone is trying to start a business. Most businesses fail. That's just a fact. The average person probably has to start and fail at least 5 or 6 different businesses before they realize stuff like you should validate your business idea, you should know how to make a good offer, you should know how to find customers, you should know how to build systems, and you should know how to make profit, and a bunch of other tiny realizations that you'll probably have to learn from experience. It's probably going to be rough, but a job is relatively stable. It's relatively low risk, and unlike starting a business, you can pretty much guarantee that you'll succeed. The key to getting a high-paying job is the same key to building a profitable business, and it's a concept called leverage. Just look at this. This is a lever. You might call it a seesaw, but it's the same thing. On the right side, there's a heavy rock, and you have to lift the rock by pushing down on the left side. If you push here, you can lift the rock a little bit, but if you push here with the same amount of effort, you'll send the rock into the stratosphere. Most people who want to get a high-paying job are pushing here. You could spend hours trying to make your resume look good, but if your resume is blank, if you have no skills to put on there, it doesn't matter if you put 50 hours into it. It's not going to get you hired anywhere. If you want a high-paying tech job, you could apply to 1,000 companies, but if you don't know anything, they're not going to hire you. When you're just starting out, the highest leverage activity is learning useful skills, getting experience, reading textbooks, taking courses and certifications, practicing the skill, doing projects by yourself to learn, and then putting all that on your resume. Once you do that, you can apply to half the number of jobs and still get 10 times as many acceptances. If you're spending a lot of time on something, ask yourself, is there something else I could be doing that would get me more results for the same amount of effort? Leverage is even more helpful in a business. This is the leverage pyramid. These are the things you can use in the business to multiply the effort that you put in and make it physically easier to become a millionaire. The first form of leverage is labor. This means getting other people to do work for you. No one likes to hire and manage people, but it can make your business a lot more profitable because everything that you don't like to do, you can just give to someone else. Next, capital leverage involves investing your money or borrowing money and investing it into something that'll multiply the money you put in. Then at the top of the pyramid is code and media. If you want to build $1 million business, but you don't want to hire employees and you don't have that much money to start with, you'll probably need to use code or media or both. Code provides some of the best leverage you can get. It gets robots and computers to work for you for almost free, and they can even work while you sleep. So this could mean using AI or writing code or using apps to automate stuff instead of doing it manually. The last and most popular form of leverage, especially for a one-person business, is media. Media allows you to contact large amounts of people at once with whatever message you want. YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, email, even Facebook. Pretty much every social media works for this. Instead of having to contact thousands of potential customers every day, you could just post content about your business on social media, and then the algorithm will figure out who to show it to. So the key takeaway is, no matter what business you want to start, if you use the things in this pyramid, you don't have to change your skill set or even change how hard you work. You just look for activities that'll give you more output for the effort that you do put in. Now at this point, you might be wondering what business to start or what to sell. And the truth is, whether or not you own a business or work a regular job, all money is made by providing value. Don't chase money itself. The money will come if you provide value. So if you want someone to give you money, sell them a solution to their problem. If someone's getting bad grades, you sell them tutoring. If someone wants to lose weight, you sell them a diet plan. If someone has a crusty driveway, you sell them your pressure washing services. And here's some pro tips to make more money. The bigger the problem is, the more you can charge. If you're a diet coach, you can charge more for a 50-pound weight loss diet plan versus a 5-pound weight loss diet plan. It all depends on how you market it. The quicker you can solve the problem, the more you can charge. If you can promise someone they'll lose 50 pounds in 10 weeks, they'll be willing to pay a lot more than if the plan took 10 months. The easier you can make it for the customer, the more you can charge. If you tell someone they can lose 50 pounds in 10 weeks while still eating mac and cheese and ice cream, they'll be willing to pay a lot more than if you told them they had to eat only broccoli and lettuce for 10 weeks. If you can guarantee the problem will get solved, you can charge more. If you have proof that you helped 100 other people lose 50 pounds in 10 weeks, and you also offer a money-back guarantee if the diet plan doesn't work, you can charge a lot more than someone who doesn't have any proof or credentials. And finally, the more money your customer has, the more you can charge. Even if everything else is equal, you'll still make more money helping 41-year-old investment bankers lose weight than helping broke high school students. If you're selling something for $2, you have to sell it to 50,000 people a year to make $100K a year. If you have something that's $2,000, you only have to sell it to 50 people. And this often brings up the question, why not just find one really big business that's really rich and charge them $100K per year, and you just dedicate all your time to helping them and no one else? Indeed, this is one of the best ways to become a millionaire, and it's called getting a job. Anyway, I'm collecting donations in the form of subscribes to fund the next video,